After I find my clicker, I'm going to give a very brief treasurer's report, and I'm going to be a little faster than usual so I can save some time for the next presentation, which hint has to talk about fees. So if you have fees questions, we're happy to take them in the next one, but just to give you a quick update. Oh, that's right. It's coming. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I am ARIN's treasurer and also lead the finance committee, which is also composed of fellow board members Bill Woodcock and Aaron Hughes, along with John Kern as a staff liaison. We're responsible for overseeing ARIN's finances. I'll just kind of go a bit backwards in the presentation. We've had a reasonably quiet time since you last saw us, but the fall really does get very busy for us because that means we are about to, or well, it's already underway, our budgeting process for our next fiscal year, which is also calendar. So over the coming months, we'll be working, the FinCom will be working with staff to develop the budgeting for next year. Oh, sorry. It was so subtle, I didn't even notice it came up. Having said that, over the last, since we last saw you, we dealt with our annual 990 filing, IRS. We wrapped up the fee review committee, which of course we'll discuss next. And we met recently with our investment audit advisors just to make sure that and see what trends we might be seeing in the future. To give you a quick snapshot, and I know that earlier we kind of went over some of the revenues, but revenues are pretty much as expected and on target. Expenses are not also reasonably on target. We're looking right now at about a 2.6 million net to reserves. Again, part of that from an operating result, but a lot also due to very positive returns from our investments in the market. Just giving a quick overview of where we are financially, and these numbers are as of the end of August. We've seen a reasonable downtick in a few areas, notably communications is down a little bit due to a renegotiation for connectivity. Depreciation is also not where is a little higher than expected, and that's just due to some timing of some of the projects that are ongoing. Mostly that's driven by a lot of Mark's engineering products because they tend to be a lot of the capital intensive projects. Professional fees are actually quite down due to, again, mostly due to some engineering professional services that we were planning to engage, which have just been pushed out a little bit. And there's also been some changes in where amounts are budgeted. Specifically, there's been some change to where travel is budgeted when it has to deal with outreach. General office is down a little bit because we've delayed some renovation projects. Legal in both amounts is much higher than expected. The legal defense fund item, that just has to do, we don't generally actually budget for that. That tends to be where we catch some of the various court cases that we've been involved in, we're not necessarily litigating in, but a lot of the bankruptcy court cases we sometimes have to get involved with and intervene, and I can leave it to John if there's any other questions on that. And legal itself has been a little bit higher than projected. Just gotta make sure I'm on the same slide. Members' meetings are actually down a little bit. That's actually a bit due to some optimizations on just overhead costs, but mostly thanks to increased sponsorship. So thank you to all our sponsors for helping out on that. And the last one is travel is actually down quite significantly. That has been thanks to the efforts of both staff, the AC, and the board, which we have been trying to be more efficient in how we spend on travel, and also we've been tighter on who we actually send to those events because we know that we've had some feedback on that. And the last one I'll put is that our funding for ICANN is just a little bit different. That has to do just with the fact that the formula that the NRO uses for what our contribution changed last year, we budgeted under the old formula, and the new formula had a slight variation. Reserves continue to grow, which is always good that they're in the right direction. Just to give you an idea, there's kind of been our reserve history. Again, ARIN has been very lucky and gracious, thanks in part to our good investment advisors, that we've had very good returns, except for in 2008 when most people had a bit of a dip. And just as a reminder, we do keep a policy. We do try and keep between 1 and 2 years. We are starting to get to the upper limit of that. So the FinCom and the board will be discussing ways that we can deal with that, whether we'll start drawing down more from the reserves or other ways that we can utilize that. I would welcome any feedback either now or later that the community or members may have on either how we could, what we would use reserves for, or any input you may have as we get into our budgeting policy. And that is about all I had, noting that fees are about to come up. So if there's any questions.
Microphones are open.
Thank you as
Okay,
always.
thank you, Paul.